Do you feel LLMs like ChatGPT aren't good enough anymore? They've hit a wall when it comes to real reasoning. Yeah, they can write essays, debug code, and sound smart, but they can't reliably plan multi-step problems. And it's not their fault. It's in their architecture to just predict words. But the next wave of AI won't just mimic language, it'll think. The breakthrough driving it is something called latent-based computing, a whole new way for models to reason inside their own neural space instead of dumping every thought into text. And it will likely replace the way models work today. I break these complex sci-fi sounding AI ideas into something you can actually understand as a normal person, and this one's a big one, but I needed to be a nerd today. So let's unpack what latent-based computing really is, why current LLMs are hitting a ceiling, and why many researchers believe this shift is necessary for the future of artificial intelligence. Remember, this is a conversation. Ask questions as we work through it. I really want to hear what you guys think. Right now, models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini are all built on something called transformer architectures. Think of transformers as really powerful pattern recognizers. They take in huge amounts of texts, trillions of words, and learn the statistical relationships between them. When you ask a question, the model doesn't think about the answer the way you and I would. It's using those learned patterns to predict the most likely next word and then the next, until it builds a response that sounds intelligent. This is why they feel so human when you chat with them. They're phenomenal at mimicking the structure of language. But that's also why they get stuck. Transformers weren't designed to think through problems. They weren't built to plan, deliberate, or explore multiple solutions internally. They're trained to predict text, not to reason about the world. And the bigger we make models, the clearer that limitation becomes. A large model can sound more convincing, but when you push it into multi-step reasoning like solving logic puzzles or planning processes, it breaks. It hallucinates facts, it contradicts itself, it gets lost, and it's an architectural limitation. Now, researchers spotted this years ago and thought the fix was to teach the models to think out loud. That led to something called chain of thought reasoning. If you've ever seen an AI explain its reasoning step by step before giving you an answer, that's chain of thought in action. It's almost like it's talking itself through the problem. And it does work, to a point. Models suddenly got better when they were forced to explain themselves, but it still wasn't real reasoning. If the model makes one small mistake really early in the chain, the entire answer collapses. And humans don't reason this way. We don't narrate every micro thought in full sentences while solving a puzzle. Most of our thinking happens internally, where we can try out ideas, throw away bad ones. What they're doing is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while describing every single twist. Not only is it exhausting, but you'd probably get lost halfway through. At least I would. So then the AI field started realizing something bigger. Maybe the problem is how these models think, and maybe the solution is to stop forcing them to explain every thought in words, and instead let them reason silently inside their own hidden space. Which brings us to latent-based computing. Here's the idea. Inside every neural network, which makes up generative models, there's something called a latent space. Think of latent space as the model's mental map of the world. In generative models, data is mapped in this kind of three-dimensional space. So imagine you're in your living room and everything in this space is mapped to how concepts or words relate to each other. So the concept of cat would live near tiger because they're both animals, but far away from car. And instead of actually using words, it just compresses that into a mathematical representation, numbers. Latent-based computing lets the model reason directly inside this three-dimensional space, inside this map, instead of translating every thought into human-readable text. It gives the AI an inner dialogue, a private whiteboard where it can try out ideas and throw out the bad ones. So what does this mean? It means not only do models no longer waste energy thinking out loud, thank you environment, it also means they can do something current LLMs can't: hold multiple possibilities in mind at once. Today's models lock into one answer path, word by word, and if they mess up early, they have no way to recover. Latent space models can explore several paths in parallel and only give you the final answer once they're confident, which is what we do as humans. Now, would you actually trust an AI that reasoned silently instead of showing you its steps, or would you want to see exactly how it thinks? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about that because I will go either way. Okay, so what are the names of these future Latent space models if we want to trash the term LLMs? One experiment that's getting a lot of attention right now is the Hierarchical Reasoning Model, or HRM, which is designed to seriously test what Latent space reasoning might look like in practice. HRMs are super cool because it's tiny, only 27 million parameters, yet on structured reasoning tasks like mazes, Sudoku, it performs really well. Now, I've read the research paper and a lot of the headlines are overblown and it's not even live in production. So if you want me to do a video explaining how HRMs work, please leave a comment. But HRMs are really exciting to me regardless because it shows we've acknowledged this problem that LLMs aren't good enough and we're experimenting with entirely new architectures instead of just making models bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's a tiny view of where things are heading, even though it's not the final destination, and I'm such a nerd, so I'm so excited to see it. So this is why Latent space computing matters, and no one's talking about it very much. I even asked some of my dev friends to talk about it, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. But we're reaching the limits of what scaling LLMs can give us. Adding more data and parameters make them sound smarter, but it doesn't make them think smarter. Latent space computing changes the game. It hopes to create better thinkers. AI labs know this. OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepMind, they're all exploring with architectures that move reasoning off the surface and into this latent space. What do you guys think? Do you think this is the right direction for AI? Do you think it's just hype? Or does it make you nervous to give models a kind of silent mind? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And if this was helpful to you, I only ask that you subscribe to show I'm making videos that are helpful. It costs you nothing and it means so much to me. If you stuck through the end of this super technical, nerdy video, you get a golden star from me. I'm serious. I wish I could mail you a chocolate bar to your house. So instead, I will grace you with my super awesome dance moves. You ready? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Oh, I need more friends, I think. I'm spending too much time with my dog. Bye, guys.